Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is a quarterly roundup video of the 151 different games I played between July, August, and September. This is a video series I started doing at the beginning of this year, where every quarter, at the end of every quarter being every 3 months, I take a look at all the different games I played in those 3 months, and then basically order them. Order them not based on a literal ranking of their score, but literally just a very fast, very quick ranking of just instinctively going through a list and just comparing what am I currently more excited about. The keyword in this is currently. You may well find things that I rated a 4 that are higher than something I rated a 4.5, and the reason for that is it's based on current excitement. There are games that I only got one play of in, and I'm still excited and still intrigued, and so the point is, don't take this as a literal review or a ranking that will be lasting in time. This is me plugging 151 different games into PubMeeple, and then very quickly, as fast as I possibly can, because it still takes like 3 hours to do it, ranking the order of these games that I played in this past quarter. This is July, August, and September, like I said already. There are 151 different games, and I'll be going through these from the lowest ranked all the way to the highest ranked, one at a time. And to save you time, in case you don't want to watch an hour-long video, because I have to imagine this will be in the range of an hour long, to save you time, you can probably, just looking instinctively at this list, there's good games throughout, there's very good games throughout, but if you're just interested in my top ones, I would say the ones that I kind of really strongly start to not wanting to miss probably starts at around 63. It's an arbitrary cutoff because there's a lot of games I like above 63. But if you go down to 63, which is going to be Super Fantasy Brawl, and everything below that are going to be the ones that I like the most from this list. I like a lot of these games. In any case, let's go ahead and dive into it. 151 games, which means very few notes or a very small amount of notes on as many of these as possible, so I can actually be done in a semi-reasonable time frame. Starting off with number 151, which is Dirty Pictures. Dirty Pictures is a party game where the goal is to draw dirty pictures. Not my taste in the slightest. 150, I am a bit of a prude to a degree, but also I find that sometimes you can be clever and inappropriate. I found Dirty Pictures to be more on the inappropriate scale and less on the clever scale, and that just makes it less my taste. If you want a very clever inappropriate game, highly recommend Shardy Party. Number 150 is Barbearian Battlegrounds from Greenbrier Games. I thought it was a very friendly in terms of the theme, the coloring, all that stuff, but the actual gameplay for me was fairly uninspiring. At 149, we have Fortify. Fortify was another very kid-friendly game that I just didn't find myself overly compelled by the gameplay. At 148, we have Diceborn Heroes. To be very fair, this one's actually less about the game itself and more about the fact that the situation that I was pulled into was really just not an ideal time to experience the game. It was at a convention. It was kind of, I didn't realize what I was signing up for, and suddenly I ended up playing it. So part of it is just that the experience wasn't when I wanted to play it. The game I actually think is far better than being 148 on this list. But Diceborn Heroes is a little roguelite RPG style kind of game where you're leveling up your characters as you assign dice to different enemies. I didn't find it overly compelling. I thought it was decent in terms of the gameplay, but the art didn't pull me in, and the situation probably has me less excited here. At 147, we have the Little Flower Shop dice game. Steve Finn makes a lot of solid filler games. I found the Little Flower Shop dice game to be one of the less interesting Yahtzee-style rolling games. Didn't find the decision space to be that interesting in the game. At 146, we have Boss Monster. Boss Monster is a game that's been out for quite some time. I had a chance to finally dive into it, and I didn't find the dungeon building aspect compelling. You're basically building a dungeon of traps and whatnot, and watching explorers go through it and hopefully die. I just didn't find it rewarding enough. I found it to be more luck-driven and just not satisfying. At 145, we have We Didn't Playtest This Either. The game itself is actually fun if you're looking for a fun party-like experience, but the game doesn't have that much going on aside from pure randomness. It's basically Fluxx. Which Fluxx is, again, same idea. If you want to just play something light and casual, Fluxx works. We didn't play this either. They both work, but they're not that compelling. At 144, we have Nanga Parbat, another Steve Finn game that this one actually has a lot more clever things going on, but something about it just didn't pull me in. The gameplay decision space was much better than the Little Flower Shop dice game, but I still didn't find myself overly compelled by it. At 143, we have Mortum, medieval detective from Arcane Wonders. Mortum gives you a thematic aspect to the detective genre, but I find that I don't love the detective genre. There's been, I think, one game, Suspects. Suspects is one that has managed to stick out for me a little bit more from Machete Games, but overall I don't love the detective genre. I like the escape room genre more. Then at 142, we have Moonshine Empire. Moonshine Empire gives you a few things that are going on that are interesting, but it also is primarily pick up and deliver, which again is a mechanism I don't love, and the overall game space, it gets more intriguing around the vehicles going on in the space, but I played a 2-player where I think the vehicles were underutilized, so I think it wasn't the best player count for it, and it's pick up and deliver. At 141, we have We're Sinking. We're Sinking has some of the most gorgeous, cutesy artwork and production and all these things. It's a prototype, but it's one that for me, We're Sinking is semi-co-op, and I really don't like semi-co-op. There are so few exceptions. Like, I mean, what's the one what's the, oh my gosh, what's the Mission Catastrophe was a pretty decent semi-co-op one that I still managed to have fun every time I played it, but I find myself pulled in too many directions when I play semi-co-op, and I'm sure there'll be an exception at some point, but I haven't found one. I haven't found a semi-co-op game that has stayed in my collection. Some I've liked a little more than others, but none have actually stayed. At 140, we have Cape May from Thunderworks Games. I found this to be decent. It checks all the boxes of being a good game, but wasn't overly rewarding. It just felt like you're building stuff and doing stuff and trying to optimize your score. I'd rather play so many other games that do those things better. At 139, we have Dawn of Ulos. Hey, a back-to-back. This was not planned. This all goes into Pub Meeple, which is a great ranking engine. I highly recommend it. But apparently, we have another Thunderworks Games back-to-back. Dawn of Ulos gives you the same basic building blocks as Acquire. Effectively, it is a stock-taking game where you're trying to manage your kind of allegiance in different factions in the game as they slowly grow and fall apart. I just find Acquire managed to do it better. I found Dawn of Ulos gave you some powers and abilities, but this is one of those times where powers and abilities did not make the game experience better for me. At 138, we have Block and Key. Block and Key is a totally satisfying, fun experience. But I shouldn't say totally satisfying experience. You're basically placing little blocks down on the board in order to score. I just didn't find the decision space of Block and Key that rewarding. I thought it was more about the production value and the gimmicky nature of it, as opposed to, hey, this is actually a fun, good game. At 137, we have the Snallygaster Situation from Renegade Games. This is a cooperative hidden movement game. Theoretically, a very interesting premise, and I think if you like the theme of it, it might draw you in more. For me, I just rather play other hidden movement games. At 136, we have 3,000 Scoundrels. 3,000 Scoundrels was definitely one of those letdown games. The premise, the theory, the designer, all those things lined up. But then when you actually played it, I thought it was a really cool concept that ended up being more gimmicky than I'd like. You're basically sleeving cards together to create unique cards every single time. And we've seen things like that before, but the way this one implemented it took more time, felt more gimmicky, and the game behind it didn't feel rewarding enough, and the bluff mechanisms felt not as well utilized as other bluffing games. I very much wanted to like this game, and did not. 135 has Mystic Vale from AEG. Mystic Vale giving you the card crafting system from Dead Reckoning, which I really enjoy, but put in a game that I thought was totally fine, but I didn't feel like a strong sense of building an engine. The premise has a little bit of bluff, a little bit of deck building, or more card crafting than deck building. I thought Mystic Vale was fine, but it didn't pull me in, not as much as Dead Reckoning did. Then we have 134's Power Core Call of Cthulhu. This is one that actually canceled, unfortunately. But Power Core Call of Cthulhu was a totally fine head-to-head experience that I very much did enjoy. I just find that the genre and theme aren't as much my thing. I generally am not as pulled in by head-to-head deck building games and whatnot. Not deck building, but when you have more powers and abilities, more sets, more learning of the things. I like deck building like Dominion, or if you want a two-player experience, I like Radlands. I don't love as much when you have like 15 different versions of characters and heroes and the way they optimize around each other. I find those don't get utilized as well in my collection, plus the theme overall didn't pull me in. I thought it was fine, I enjoyed it, but didn't love it. At 133, we have Kompromat. Kompromat from I can't remember the company. Kompromat is a kind of a playing blackjack with a bit of a board game mechanisms pasted onto it. I thought it was fine, but it was not a game that pulled me in to continue to want to dive into it. It was just a fine blackjack experience. 132 is Warcrow Adventures. Warcrow Adventures, in theory, could be higher or lower on this list. I only got a chance to play a single scenario that didn't really feel like it really let me experience the game. And so I walked away from Warcrow Adventures kind of being more curious about what the game will be, but not actually getting a good sense of whether I like it or not. I didn't see enough to know whether I like it or not. 131 is Talisman. Talisman, the original Fantasy Flight, well, not the original, I guess it's 4th edition. Talisman, Revised Edition, 4th edition, whatever it is, from Fantasy Flight Games. Had a chance to finally play that one, and I see both why it is an enjoyable old-school game, and also why it's looked down a lot at the same time. I see both. I enjoyed my time with it, while also not feeling like I made a lot of decisions past rolling dice all the time for everything I did. At 130, we have Cthulhu Fluxx, managing to be a whole bunch of spots higher than then we didn't playtest this either. I think I prefer Fluxx to we didn't playtest this. Both of them feel kind of random, but at least in Fluxx there's more of like a little theme behind it. So Cthulhu Fluxx, totally fine, totally forgettable. At 129 we have The Hunger. Deck building from Richard Garfield. I love the deck building. I love deck building games in general. I like the art and the theme of The Hunger, but ultimately The Hunger came down to build a deck and become less powerful every single turn. The entire game is about clogging your deck. That's the entire game. It's about managing your clogged deck. That's all it is, which to me was a big strike against the experience. At 128, we have Catan, Dawn of Humankind. Catan, Dawn of Humankind is another Catan variant. I'd rather play Catan. Catan, Dawn of Humankind did a few ththings that were interesting or different, but not enough to overly compel me. At 127, we have Mini Express. Mini Express from, I can't remember the company. I feel like there's an M. Modeus maybe? Modeus Game Design? That sounds right. But it could be wrong, but it sounds right. Mini Express is a decent game that I enjoyed the 2-action system. Basically taking 2 actions the entire game, either taking stock or placing trains, taking stock, placing trains, and the balancing of those actions gives you the game state. I thought it was pretty decent, but I thought it was too reliant on player count, and did feel a little dry once you got a few plays under your belt compared to other train-taking games or stock-taking games. At 126, we have Airmail. 126 Airmail. I thought Airmail was totally fine. I enjoyed the route building. You're basically building planes on a map and trying to connect routes and deliver packages. I thought it was fine, but I prefer other games in that kind of train placing genre. It's a little different than like your standard Ticket to Ride, a few more things going on, but also the graphic design art really didn't pull me in on this one. At 125, we have Fire and Stone. Fire and Stone is one from Pegasus Spiel, I want to say. It's a fairly light game of placing things down and exploring the map and exploring the region. I thought it was very family friendly, not one I'd pull out past enjoying with my kids. At 124, we have Warhammer Quest Lost Relics. This is a tough one because I both liked the engine. I actually liked it's a dungeon crawler, and I like the action allocation system they had in play, and the way you trigger it and cascade it and can have chaining actions. Thought it was very fun, but the game was broken. I don't see a way around this. The game to me was broken. You could kind of, if you're willing to rush the end game, you could just always win. And I challenge people to tell me I'm wrong, and no one has yet. It feels like when you play Warhammer Quest Lost Relics, if you're trying to win within the rules, it takes 2 seconds. You have to be... It just feels broken. 123, Mariposis. Mariposis from AEG. Butterfly, fluttering little butterflies around the map. I thought it both was interesting in terms of the goals you're going for, but also a little ambient in the direction. It was a fun, totally enjoyable experience, but not one that overly compelled me. At 122, we have Isle of Trains. Isle of Trains is one that gives you it had a few things going on there. I actually kind of really enjoyed the solo play more than the competitive play. It's not that the competitive play wasn't enjoyable, it's that competitive play is usually vying for more time and attention. Solo play was more relaxed and being able to just dive into it, not wanting to play other games necessarily. But Isle of Trains gave you a little bit of a pick up and deliver, a little bit of a tableau building, a lot of managing your cards, overall enjoyable, but didn't really stick, but overall enjoyable. 121 is Green Team Wins. From 25th Century Games, this is a party game where the green team wins. Your goal is to always be on the green team, which is basically your goal is to be on the popular kids club. So you want to answer the most popular answers, and then if there's ever a tie, the green team wins. Very interesting, very funny, very charming, not amazing, just charming. Charming little party game. 120 was Dice Hospital Roll and Write, or Dice Hospital Emergency Roll, I believe it's called. That is the roll and write version of Dice Hospital, and it was enjoyable but samey. That's my main problem with it. I thought that it was very solid in terms of what it did, but the experience felt too samey compared to other games. I'd rather play Railroad Inc., Welcome to, or some of my other classics, but it was very solid. We have 119 is Shake That City from AEG. This one I'm still diving into. Part of the bias of these lists is many of these are not reviews, which means many of these games do only have one play, and they are ranked accordingly, either very high interest or possibly very low interest, and those things can change after I get multiple plays in. But with Shake That City, and also, ironically, just the nature of when I film these things, it's possible you see a review for Shake That City. I haven't filmed it yet because I need to play it more, but just the ordering, I don't know how these things play out. Sometimes you'll see a review out of order when I film them. Either way, point is that Shake That City from AEG is one that I need to dive into more. It gave you scoring mechanisms, a little interesting shaking system. The shaking feels a little gimmicky, but I do like trying to balance different scoring objectives. I need to play it more. My first impressions of it were good, but I'd rather play other games in the genre, but I want to try it more and see where it settles. That's funny because you're shaking cues and watching this. It's really funny if you play the game. 118 was The Stifling Dark, another hidden movement game which you're trying to evade the hidden person. The hidden person is wandering around the map trying to kill you or just send chills down your spine. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game, but I thought the graphic design really didn't pull me in. From the get-go, it didn't. Like when they first reached out to me, I was like, the graphic design just didn't pull me in. And even as I continued to play it, it felt like it really took me out of the experience to a large degree. Combined with the fact that it wasn't really about tracking down the hidden person. it was about evading the hidden person more so than not. And that to me kind of shifted what I love about hidden movement games. So I liked it, but not as much as other hidden movement games. Then we have 117 was Dragons of Etchenstone. Dragons of Etchenstone. We're making our way slowly through this list here. I don't know how long it's been, but Dragons of Etchenstone is a hold in your hand deck-based system where you're playing with 18 cards trying to go on journeys, either fighting monsters or going on journeys. It's all about the management of your hand as you go through that process. It takes around half an hour to play. I liked it while also not being my preferred genre, and it comes down to a lot of number crunching because of how much you're trying to fit onto single cards. Good, but not great. Then we have 116 was It's a Wonderful Kingdom from Lucky Duck Games. I like Wonderful Kingdom. I'd rather play It's a Wonderful World, and I'd rather play Seven Wonders on top of all of those. I know I'm not in necessarily the vast majority. Seven Wonders is even on this list. Spoiler for that. But I like all those games, but I prefer Seven Wonders more. Again, they're not directly comparable, but I'm comparing them now. At 115, we have Summer Camp. Summer Camp from Phil Walker Harding. I like that one as deck building, but I thought it's very charming in the way they give you different packs. So you can mix in different packs that are like, themed to summer camp. So you have like, I don't know, medicine or swimming or arts and crafts or food. You have different kinds of things you're going through. But I thought that that system I loved. I liked the way they did that, and I thought it was very charming, but it also felt a little lighter than I'd like. And the packs had too much similarity between the packs, and so lots of promise, but I kind of want more from it. At 114, we have Fate Forge. Fate Forge Chronicles of Khan from Mighty Boards. I enjoyed that. The biggest problem I have with Fate Forge, and the reason it's low down this list, is it's fighting for a very hotly contested area of that style of game. Dungeon crawlers, campaign games, story-driven games, there's so many of them, and there's such a mental time commitment. I liked Fate Forge more than a bunch of games that will be higher than that on this list, but mentally speaking, I'm kind of comparing it to other games in the genre that I prefer more. At 113, we have War Chest from another AEG. AEG's got a bunch of titles here today. We have War Chest from AEG. Solid game. I like War Chest. I always find that I am more intrigued by War Chest, and every time I try to play it, I'm like, I think I'll like it more. But the end result is because you have so few chips, I find it's a little procedural in the way those chips end up spreading on the board. Again, I'm sure a War Chest expert can destroy me and crush me. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. I just find that, to me, it feels like it should have a ton of decision space, and I love the initial drafting and building your army, but then past that, I don't love it quite as much. The initial draft I love. Once I dive into the game, I find it goes down a little bit more of a slow route of just putting out your troops. Then 112 is Age of Inventors. Age of Inventors was a heavier game than I initially gave it credit for. A lot of fun things going on in there. My biggest complaint with this is that I wanted the map to matter more. At 111, we have Ascension Realms Unraveled, my first time diving into the Ascension ecosystem. I still prefer Dominion, I still prefer Star Realms or other games in the deck building genre, but I definitely understand why Ascension is where it is. It's I think it's the game that pioneered deck building, like with a row of ever-changing cards as opposed to a market. I don't know if pioneered is the right word. Popularized. Let's go with popularized. At 110, we have Almost Innocent from Colossal Games. A solid deduction game. I'd rather other deduction games. What's my favorite deduction right now? Pachacuna. No, Tiwanuku. Pachacuna is not Pachamama, and Pachamama became Tiwanuku. Tiwanuku is currently my favorite deduction game. At 109, we have Great Western Trail. Great Western Trail, which I dove into because I was going into WSBG and I was refreshing myself on all the games I hadn't played in a while. And I like Great Western Trail, but it's never stuck with me. It always feels like something about Great Western Trail never stuck with me. I always enjoyed it. I always liked it. I like other Euro games more. At 108, we have Redwood. Redwood from Sit Down Games, giving you a bit of a taking a picture kind of angular aspect of the game. I like Redwood. I thought it was charming. I do think it is not I felt lots of sit-down games have gimmicks, and some of those gimmicks have resonated with me more than others. For Redwood, it resonated with me less. I like it. I'm happy to play it, but and I didn't try it with the expansion yet. I do want to try the expansion at some point, but I enjoyed it, but didn't love it. Then at 107, we have Spark Riders 3000, an app-driven game of flying through space. Amazing art, amazing production, amazing app integration. All these things are amazing, but the gameplay I thought was a little light and a little similar game to game. So in theory, I think it's a great game. I think it's a great introductory gateway game. For me, I prefer a little bit more nuance to the strategy I'm diving into. Like, for instance, I'd rather play the Loop over Spark Riders every single time. Again, spoiler trail coming. At 106, we have Blitzball. Blitzball, another Games Workshop game. Blitzball is one that gives you Blitzball Ultimate, I believe. But that one gives you football and fighting at the same time. I liked it, didn't love it. We have 105 is Ready, Set, Bet, another AEG title. How many games does AEG have? I don't know. Blitzball, at Ready, Set, Bet at 105. Ready, Set, Bet is charming. It's very chaotic, very party-driven. I think it's a lot of fun in terms of feeling like you're around a table just betting on different things, and it's really solid in that sense. I don't love the game, but I love the experience I have when playing it. 104 is Enchanters from Mythic Games. Enchanters, or repopularized by Mythic, their Phoenix program, whatever it is. Enchanters, the big box game, they have a bunch of trying to build your hand of your, basically your weapon and your enchantment, and you're slowly leveling those up as you try to take down monsters. You're leveling up all your stats. I find it a very charming system with a ton of variety to it. I want to play it more cooperative and or solo, because I find for competitive play, I think there's other games I'd rather play. At 103, we have Darkest Dungeon, the board game. This is low down the list because I've only played the tutorial scenario. That's all I've played so far. I need to play it more. I don't have enough to go off of here. My initial instinct based off the tutorial scenario is I think I enjoy the combat system. I think I don't enjoy the pre-setup stuff you do before diving into every combat. I wish there was a way to skip that. It feels a little grindy. At 102, we have The Wolves from Patasaurus Games. Liked it. Only one play so far. I need more. But The Wolves from Patasaurus Games, I thought it was... It's weird because I feel like I should like it more than I do, but The Wolves gives you some solid choices to make about how you build your tableau and take your actions to win, but I think ultimately I never really felt a strong sense of direction as I played. It felt a little more ambient, but I need to play it more. We'll talk about it more later. 101 is Acquire. Again, playing more games to catch up on WSBG, Acquire is fantastic. It's an old school game. It can be absolutely random, at least coming from the stance of not being an Acquire expert. But yeah, I found Acquire to be good, but not necessarily great. At 100, we have Azul Queen's Garden. Azul Queen's Garden is my second favorite of the Azul series, coming behind the original Azul, which is still my favorite. My go-to is Azul. Then we have Azul Queen's Garden. It gives you a bit more intricate stuff going on, which I do appreciate, but I think once you're going that direction, I'd rather play other games. At 99, we have Mountain Goats from Board Game Tables. I still like that one. Honestly, it's light, it's simple, but whenever I'm looking at games to get rid of, it doesn't really cross my eye because it's just fun, simple, roll dice, climb up mountain, similar to Can't Stop, but it also plays more player counts, although I don't like playing it with more player counts. Playing it at 5 and 6 is a drag, but I like it. Mountain Goats is quick and charming. At 98, we have Marvel Dice Throne. I always enjoy Marvel, but I always enjoy Dice Throne, I should say, but I do find it lower down on my list in general. I think that the Yahtzee-style strategy does come across... Yahtzee-style strategy works to a degree, but at the end of the day, it doesn't pull me in as much as I would like, especially once you have the depth of the characters, but I always have fun playing it. It's a good game. It's just, to me, it's not a great game. At 97, we have Veil Wraith. Veil Wrath or Veil Wraith? Veil Wraith. There should be an I in here. Let's add that I. Veil Wraith. Veil Wraith from oh my gosh, Tristan Hall, but I can't remember the name of his company. Hall or Nothing, is that the name of his company? Either way, we have Veil Wraith, which is a solo procedural experience of basically trying to manage your cards and your actions as you take down these various things attacking you, sort of. It was an intriguing puzzle. I need to play it more. I'm only a few scenarios in, but it's an intriguing puzzle, but doesn't overall capture me enough. Again, feels a bit too procedural as I go through it. It feels like the actions are mostly inherently obvious to me, but again, I'm only a few scenarios in, so that might change as we go through it. At 96, we have Songbirds. I thought Songbirds was a very interesting puzzle of trying to place things down in, I think from Daily Magic Games, but it's a game of trying to basically figure out who's going to win and cash in on that. That's the goal. You're trying to figure out which bird is going to score the most and place your cards accordingly, and at a certain point, lock in which bird you want. The only problem with it is I feel the entire game comes down to making one optimal decision at one point, and so it didn't really feel like there's a lot of opportunity to mess around past that. You make a call and then you just hope to build it up. I like it, I didn't love it. At 95, we have Duos. Duos was a very simple mechanism of matching up pairs and trying to match up pairs with other people at the table. I like the concept of it. I didn't like the art in the game, but I'm happy to try it out with other things, like with Codenames cards or Dixit cards, and see if that changes how I feel about it. Overall, Duos right now falls in the category of being a Dixit-style game, a Codename-style game that right now is here on my shelf, but I wonder how long it sticks around. At 94, we have Gaia Project. Gaia Project is, again, WSBG, diving into those. This is my first play of Gaia Project. I thought Gaia Project was longer and heavier than I would... How to put this? I really like Gaia Project. Also, for the game length and weight, there are other games I'd rather play. That's where I am right now. But I do want to try it more to see if that changes as I dive into it more. I want to see how it plays out. I might give it some plays on Board Game Arena to just quickly dive into it with less of the setup, the obligation, the mental hurdles, all that stuff. But the Gaia Project was very solid. I understand why it's well liked, but for me, also keep in mind, I play Terra Mystica and also had the same impression. So Gaia Project, I definitely prefer to Terra Mystica, but I don't think either one's sticking around for me. 93 is Sushi Go Party. I like drafting. I like this better than... Arguably, I should like It's a Wonderful Kingdom more than Sushi Go Party. I should, honestly. I don't know why Sushi Go Party is higher, but that is what it is. 92 is Small World of Warcraft. It's more Small World with a Warcraft theme. I don't care about the Warcraft theme, neither for nor against, but it's Small World, and I've always enjoyed Small World. 91 is Grove, a solo game of overlaying cards. It's a fun, simple solo puzzle. I don't know if it sticks around forever. I find that once I'm playing a genre like that, I think I'd rather play Sprawlopolis or Agropolis or any of those games. So I like Grove. I wonder if it sticks around. We'll see. 90 is Wildstyle, a Pinosaurus game which gives you a real-time mechanism of rapidly just playing cards down to try to place these tags on different spots. So it's area control and real-time and set collection and variable scoring goals. It works, but I really don't care for the theme at all, and it's real-time, which makes me wonder how long it sticks around, but for right now, it's still here. 89 is Catch Don Falcone, a great family-friendly game, very family-friendly, a very Carcassonne-style laying tiles as you kind of, or almost like Carcassonne merged with Tsuro is how it feels. You're placing things down and then moving stuff around the board, hoping to not be caught by the cops. So some players are playing as cops, one player is playing as Don Falcone, and you're trying to escape to the edge of the map, or to specific aspects of escaping. We'll talk more about that when we review it, if we review it. 88 was Trudvang Legends. I thought Trudvang Legends was simple, compelling, engaging, but also repetitive. Now, many games in this genre can be, but for me, I walked into Trudvang Legends, and once I played the 5th or 6th scenario, wherever I finished off, I kind of just thought to myself, I'd rather spend my time in roleplay adventures. I'd rather spend my time replaying roleplay adventures. Not against Trudvang, I enjoyed it, but I thought that the story didn't pull me in enough. The choose your own adventure was certainly not that strong. For me, in all senses, I'd rather play roleplay adventures. At 87, we have Wingspan. Wingspan, which is a solid, I'm surprised it's higher than Trudvang, but honestly, I've always liked Wingspan. My biggest complaint is that I'd rather just play Everdell. That's not a critique against Wingspan, it's just Wingspan's a great game. Always enjoyed it. I like the tableau building in Wingspan. It's always rewarding, it's always fun. I just rather choose other games. So Wingspan's high, but not super high. At 86, we have Andromeda's Edge, the next iteration of Dwellings of Eldervale. Now, I like Dwellings of Eldervale, but again, it lost to other area control games I preferred, and I think Andromeda's Edge is likely bound for the same fate. I don't know for sure yet. I want to play it more. I certainly liked Andromeda's Edge more than Dwellings of Eldervale. That's not a question at all. But I still don't think it holds up to being competitive to Rurik, to Blood Rage, to Inish when I'm sitting down and pulling a game out. And so, like Andromeda's Edge, definitely an improvement to Dwellings for me. At 85, we have Copenhagen. Copenhagen is a light polyomino game. And again, this is a weird balance. We have games like Copenhagen being compared against Andromeda's Edge, and I prefer Copenhagen. It's not that I prefer it, it's that Andromeda's Edge is like a much heavier, deeper experience. And Copenhagen was fun, simple polyomino games that I'm still not keeping Copenhagen for the record. I still prefer other polyomino games, but Copenhagen was a simple, engaging polyomino experience that gives you're trying to complete rows and columns and manage your scoring objectives. It's pretty decent, honestly, and it has nice acrylic tiles. It's pretty decent. I'd always happily play it, but I don't need to play it. At 84, we have Shipwreck Arcana. Shipwreck Arcana is a deduction game where you're working together with other players to kind of infer what the optimal decision would have been. They're making a decision, you're reading into that decision, you're trying to infer from what they do what the optimal decision is as you go through that. At 83, we have Rift Force. Rift Force is one that I am cooling on. I don't know if I'm cooling on it or not. I like Rift Force. Rift Force is on Capstone Games. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 to 5 when I reviewed it, and I kind of want more expansion content, but I find at this point I am cooling on it. For me, it's not changing drastically, maybe going down to a 3.5, I don't know, but I still like it, but I'm starting to see that aspect of whenever I look at games to leave or not, Rift Force starts to edge into my peripheral vision. I like it. I don't know. I like it. I do like it. We'll have to see. At 82, we have Soulforge. Soulforge Fusion. That's another one where I really like, but I just don't know if I'm actually going to play it or table it with the people I want to play or table with. Soulforge Fusion gives you a degree of escalating gameplay as you merge cards together and then power them up effectively. Every time you play them, you're leveling them up. So as you go through the game, your cards are getting progressively more powerful, which I really like. I just don't know if it'll hit the table for me. Going back to that 2-player aspect, I just don't know if it will hit the table, but I do really like Soulforge. At 81, we have Cryo. Cryo from Luke Laurie, designer of Dwellings of Eldervale and Andromeda's Edge, and Cryo as well. I like Cryo. Cryo was one of his... It's kind of reminded me of Furnace. It's fast, it's simple, it gives you the worker placement of placing and pulling back, a solid engine building. I don't know if it has the variability I'd want from the experience, but I thought it was a very solid game, and I enjoyed it. At 80, we have Bestiary of Sigillum. This is from, I don't even know what it's from, I can't remember the name of the company offhand, but it's on GameFound, and this is one that gives you 2-player head-to-head, building a crew of people, and then trying to combine your powers and abilities. Same problem as all the 2-player experiences I have out there. Same basic problem where it comes down to some players going to know the system better, but I did enjoy the game. I very much enjoyed the game. It felt like Hoplomachus Victorum if you're playing 2-player head-to-head, although somebody pointed out that Hoplomachus Remastered should have 2-player head-to-head, so I might just prefer Hoplomachus Remastered because it's chip theory games, and let's be honest, they gave me a sword, so I prefer all their games now. Then we have 79 is Oceans. 79 is Oceans from North Star Games. I like Oceans. It is an evolution of... That wasn't intended. I swear that was not intended. It's an evolution of evolution. It's the next step of evolution, which I like evolution. I like evolution climate. I like Oceans. I like them all, but I also don't love them all. I actually still have Oceans and evolution climate, but I kind of feel... I feel like one or both of those is not going to stick around. I like the systems, but I don't love the systems, and there's so many games out there that every year more games come out that I love, and that means you have to get rid of games that you only like. At 78, we have Paint the Roses. Again, not intended, but back-to-back North Star games, just the way this list came out. At 78, we have Paint the Roses, a cooperative game from North Star Games that I really do like. It gives you solid deduction. To me, it is, I think, the deduction game that I like underneath Tiwanuku. It's Tiwanuku, then probably Paint the Roses. It's cooperative deduction. I enjoy the puzzle of trying to figure out what the other players intended as they put down their stuff into the garden. At 77, we have Stars of Ikarios, which I need to play more. I got 3 games of it when it first arrived, and then I haven't played it since. I need to read the rulebook, I need to table it, along with 1,700 other games as well. So I like it, I want to play it more. At 76, we have Fit to Print from Flat Out Games. Fit to Print, for me, that one gives you real time, which again is a problem for me. I find most real time games don't stick around for me. I enjoy them to a degree, but they don't stick. But Fit to Print, I very much did enjoy. I think I still prefer Cascadia. I think I still prefer Calico. Fit to Print might be above Verdant for me. I don't know. I'd have to play it more, but I did enjoy it very much. At 75, we have Hero County. Hero County from the same people from Off Page Games who did Mind Management. At 75, yeah, Hero County is solid. My biggest problem with it is I just don't know if it's going to get tabled the way I'd like. I'd rather play Mind Management with 2 players any day of the week. I'd rather play many other games in the genre. I thought Hero County gave you a lot of variability and a lot of asymmetric depth to the experience, but also you kind of have to play like 5 games just to get to the point, 5 iterative processes of games of leveling up the game just to get to the point where it's actually the full experience. It's a lot going on. I think it's solid. I don't know if it's one that's going to stick around for me. At 74, we have Relics of Rajavihara, a solo experience from Joe Slack. But Relics of Rajavihara basically feels like an app game which you're trying to tumble blocks around to get your goal done. Who's ringing the doorbell? But Relics of Rajavihara is one that I like the solo experience. I don't know if I think I'm going to play through it, finish it, and then move on and gift it to somebody else at that point, because you can keep replaying it. I like it. I think it's compelling, but I think it's also a game that's better as an app. At 73, we have Rivet Wars. Rivet Wars, which has recently got re-released or whatnot from Steamforged Games. I like Rivet Wars, and I'm happy they have a solo campaign game coming up because I'm going to dive into it that way. But I enjoy Rivet Wars. It's simple, head-to-head skirmish, and I'm really interested in the solo aspect. I want to dive into that campaign. At 72, we have Agropolis from Buttonshy Games. I like Agropolis. I like Sprawlopolis more, but I like Agropolis, and now they have the newest one, whatever it's called, the newest 3rd one in the line. At 71, we have Almanac the Crystal Peaks. We have Almanac the Dragon Road and Almanac the Crystal Peaks. I like Almanac the Crystal Peaks. I like Almanac the Dragon Road. It gives you worker placement as you go through a storybook of a journey, each book taking you to the next page, and I really enjoy the worker placement. I really enjoy the charm of the experience. I really enjoy just the charm. To me, it's the charm of simple worker placement with variable rules so that you have a totally different experience every time you play it. I really, really like those series. At 70, we have Wanderlust. Wanderlust probably will not be coming out to 2023, but Wanderlust is one that I really liked it. It falls into the Ticket to Ride genre, Ticket to Ride or Trekking the World or all that, that kind of genre of games. But I really like Wanderlust. It might be my favorite from these genres. It merged a good combination of the depth of the experience and the accessibility of the experience, giving you a very solid route building game that I really liked. Not really route building, more traveling, but same concept, and I really enjoyed it. At 69, we have Dice Miner. Dice Miner is simple and engaging. It is very, very light, but it's simple and engaging. I like the experience. You draft some dice from a little mountain, pull them out, and then try to score as efficiently as possible. It's simple. It is a light gateway game. Something about it is charming and compelling, and I enjoy it. At 68, we have the Quacks of Quedlinburg, which I always enjoy. Quacks of Quedlinburg. I like the variability of just trying to figure out how to build your bag. I don't love the game. I don't have the same high acclaim many do, but I always have fun playing the Quacks of Quedlinburg. At 67, we have the Red Cathedral. Red Cathedral from Devere Games. It's again like Furnace, like that other game I mentioned, like Cryo. It is a roughly hour-long mid-weight Euro that gives you a solid amount of depth and variability and choice to your experience. I like the Red Cathedral. Recommend the expansion. That's the only way I play it right now. I only play it with the expansion, but I like it. At 66, we have Rove, Results-Oriented Versatile Explorer. I have it written out like that because later on this list we'll have another Rove. That's not the same game at all. But 66 is Rove, which is another Buttonshy solo game. I really like it. I still prefer Sprawlopolis, I think, but Rove is a brain-burnery game. I really enjoy the game of Rove. I really enjoy all the expansions and modules. It's a brain-burnery experience that I like a lot. At 65, we have Star Realms Legacy. This one I'm mixed on. I mean, I'm not that mixed. I like Star Realms and I like Legacy games, so I like Star Realms Legacy. The part that I'm mixed on is the fact that Star Realms Legacy, I think just the cost of the game versus the experience difference between Star Realms and Star Realms Legacy, I think that is a very large gap, but I very much do enjoy the game. At 64, we have 9 Minute Kingdom. You know what? I take it back. Previously I said 63 Super Fantasy Brawl. I take it back. We're going to 64 Nine Minute Kingdom. That's where you want that line drawn. 64 and above. That's where you want to keep all the games. 64 is 9 Minute Kingdom. A very cheap game that gives you a very simple, engaging 9-minute game. You're drafting cards for simple majority scoring. Works really well. I think it's simple and compelling and cheap and rewarding and plays quickly. I highly recommend 9 Minute Kingdoms. At 63 is Super Fantasy Brawl. Super Fantasy Brawl is one that has slowly cooled on me. Slowly is the key word. I still love Super Fantasy Brawl. I still think it's a ton of fun. I still always enjoy playing it, but I also don't pull it out quite as much. So it has cooled on me, but it's still, I mean, the list still has Super Fantasy Brawl fairly high out of 151 different games. At 62, we have Moonraker's Luminor, which is likely my preferred way to play Moonrakers. The only thing I don't love is I don't love having a separate app to manage games. I'll play games with apps, but I don't love it. Moonraker's Luminor is a way of playing Moonrakers cooperatively or solo, and I think it's the way I'm primarily going to play Moonrakers from now on. I like the system, but I like working together the whole way through. 61 is Stardew Valley. Speaking of working together the whole way through, Stardew Valley is the cooperative game that mimics Stardew Valley, the video game, and it does so, I was about to say it does so decently. I've never played Stardew Valley, so I can't say that. It is a good game. I enjoy Stardew Valley. I enjoy the puzzle and management of trying to figure out how to basically fulfill your grandfather's goals and restore the various rooms and whatnot. I think it's a very solid game. I want to play it more. I don't know if it sticks around forever. I don't yet know that, but I do certainly enjoy it. At 60, we have Welcome to. I managed to play Welcome to a bunch this month, even though I enjoy Welcome to the Moon more, but I have played Welcome to a bunch, very much enjoyed it, and yeah, it's more Welcome to. At 59, we have Cockroach Poker Royale. Always fun. I love it. It's one of my go-to bluffing games. It's my go-to party game when you want to finish up the night, call it a day, play a bunch of fun things. I love Cockroach Poker Royale. At 58, we have Twilight Inscription. Twilight Inscription, another roll and write game that I really enjoy from Fantasy Flight Games. It's one that I have some thoughts on because I think I figured out an optimal strategy that'll have me win every time, and I'm going to test that until I lose. But I very much like Twilight Inscription, and I'm still diving into it. I just have that slight feeling in the back of my head that wonders if that's true, because if I'm right, that would ruin the game for me. 57, Draft and Write Records. 57 is Draft and Write Records, another roll and write game. This one a prototype from Inside Up Games. I very much liked it. I don't care for the theme at all. The theme is music and bands, and it's not my thing in the slightest, but it felt very much like Ganshan Clever. A lot of depth to the intricate, do this, to do that, to mix with that. Really enjoy it. If you like Ganshan Clever, if you like those cascading roll and write genre of games, I think Draft and Write Records is one worth paying attention to. At 56, we have Copen Dying City from Holy Grail Games. While not as much, I don't love this one quite as much as I like Encyclopedia. I loved Encyclopedia, their last game for the same designers, but Copen Dying City, I do very much enjoy this one. It's got a whole bunch of, it's like 5 different areas of the board you have to try to figure out where to optimize your score around, as you try to figure out what aspects you want to prioritize. The game very heavily incentivizes prioritizing the same thing again and again and again. I like it. Solid game. A 4 to 5. At 55, we have The Mind. The Mind is always fun. Every time I play The Mind, I have a blast. It is just, it's barely even a game. It's just an experience, but I always love The Mind. It's just, you're trying to just guess the other player's intention, and the way you mentally connect as you play, it is so satisfying. At 54, we have Paleo. Paleo was higher for me, but it has dropped a bit after having a bad play of it. I'm very allergic to bad plays of games. If I play a game and I have a bad play, immediately I'm like less likely to pull it out next time because like, well, the last time wasn't a good play. And so it only takes a few bad plays before a game's gone, but I still love Paleo for now, and hopefully I don't have more bad plays, or we'll see what happens. At 53, we have Dead Reckoning, another game I've cooled on. I do not think Dead Reckoning sticks around forever. I don't know if or when it goes. I'm not ready to say that, but right now I like Dead Reckoning, but I am mindful of the fact that Dead Reckoning went from, like, I mean, for me it's probably a 4 to 5 right now, but I think at one point it was a 4.5 out of 5, and I think it's gone down a bit because I think the experience is samey to a degree. Meaning I've gone through the game, I've played the different pathways, I've tried different strategies, and now I feel like I've seen a lot of what the game has to offer, and I'm not as magically pulled in the same way I am by a game like, let's say, Zyre or not. I don't have that same sense of I want to dive into it again, so I like That Reckoning. It's not going anywhere yet, but I don't think it's a forever game for me. At 52, we have Patchwork. Patchwork, just always simple fun. Polyomino, Uwe Rosenberg, simple, compelling fun. He has great games. They hold up. He has another game high on this list as well. I think he has like 2 maybe. We'll see. We have 51 is Tranquility. I love Tranquility. It's fun, simple, cooperative, placing tiles down. Lucky Duck, I think, currently distributes it, but I just like it. It is simple, it's rewarding, it has a bunch of modules to mix it up. I just enjoy it. It's a very Zen-like game. A very Zen-like game that I have a lot of fun playing. At 50, we have That's Pretty Clever. I'm a little surprised That's Pretty Clever ranks higher than Draft and Write Records. I'm surprised because I don't know. I like both a lot. I like both a lot. Either way, but that's pretty clever. Ganshun clever. Still play that one. Still enjoy it. At 49, we have Codenames. Still play it. Still enjoy it. I'm surprised it's not higher up, honestly. At 48, we have Hanamakoji Geisha's Road. I really enjoy it. It's another version of Hanamakoji. I love Hanamakoji. I love Geisha's Road. I don't know if I had to choose one. Either one is fine. 47 is Under Falling Skies. Still enjoying that solo puzzle. That is another one that I have cooled on. Like, I loved Under Falling Skies, and I just pull out less and less. I still haven't finished the campaign. I still enjoy it, but the puzzle has gotten a bit more predictable. So I like it a lot, and I do think it's sticking around for a long time. Forever is a long time. I don't know about forever, but it's sticking around for a long time. At 46, we have Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V will be launching, I believe, in January over on GameFound. This is from, well, Blacklist Games was doing it, and now Colossal is picking it up. But I really enjoyed it. I only got one play, so caveats to that fact that I need to play it more. Maybe my opinion changes, but I really enjoy it, and we got stomped. It's a cooperative game of managing your cards, but I like getting stomped in cooperative games. It makes me want to try again, and I feel like we could have won, but we did get stomped on. At 45, we have Tainted Grail Kings of Rune. I really enjoyed Kings of Rune while also only getting 2 scenarios, so I need to dive into it more. I plan on diving into Tainted Grail more. I just haven't done so yet. I really need to do so. At 44, we have Dune War for Arrakis. Dune War for Arrakis from Command Games. I really liked it with the caveat that it's like a 2-hour-long 2-player game, and those just don't see table time a lot for me, but I really enjoyed playing it. I got, 2 plays, 1.5 plays, 2.5 plays, I don't remember exactly, but I got some version of plays under my belt. Very much a first impressions, not a review, but I like Dune War for Arrakis, and I'm happy to dive into it more. At 43, we have Rise and Fall. I liked Rise and Fall a lot. It's got this interesting card play mechanism as you try to activate different units, and you kind of want the variety of different unit types, but that slows down your engine. Really enjoyed the puzzle of Rise and Fall as you try to manage all that to optimize your score. Thought it was very solid, and I'm looking forward to playing it more. 42, we have Massive Darkness 2. I need to play it more. It's high on this list because I really enjoyed my first play, but I only have a first play. I need to play it more. At 41, we have Framework. That's my other Uwe Rosenberg game. Framework is excellent. I really like it. It's my favorite from the Nova Luna, Sagani, and Framework trilogy of games, all with different publishers, but the same core mechanism, all from Uwe Rosenberg. I like Framework the best. I want to say easily. I think so. I think it's Framework, then Nova Luna, then Sagani for me. But we'll talk about that more in another video that I just spoiled. Number 40 is Rove. Rove is from the designer of Crimson Scales. Crimson Scales up behind my head over here. And it's a game that's going to be very much targeting the Gloomhaven crowd in terms of if you like Gloomhaven, you'll like Rove, that kind of thing. I like Rove a lot, but I need to see the upgrading system. The problem is I've only played Rove, I've played it a few times now, but each time only from the start. So I've never got a chance to progress my character, and Gloomhaven is not a game. Gloomhaven is a game that I liked when I played it, but I only fell in love with it as I progressed my character. And so until I do that with Rove, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, which has me bothered because I don't, like right now I like Rove, but I'm like, obviously Gloomhaven's better. But I want to play Rove more to see where it ends up for me. I want to play it more. At 39, we have Welcome to the Moon. Welcome to the Moon is, well, better than Welcome to, in my opinion. I just like the variability it gives me. At 38, we have Letters from Whitechapel. On the last page now. Letters from Whitechapel. I really enjoy Letters from Whitechapel. I need to play it more. I really liked it. I still like My Management and Beast more, but I like Letters from Whitechapel. I thought it was very, very solid in terms of what it's doing, and I'm looking forward to diving into it more. At 37, we have Forsaken. I have asterisks next to Forsaken, but I really like Forsaken. I want to dive into the solo mode. I want to play it more. It's the kind of game that I really enjoy, but I don't know how much it will get tabled. So it has that little asterisk of like, I like it, I want to play it again. Will I end up playing it a lot? I'll have to get my copy and see eventually, but for right now, I'm still excited about it. At 36, we have The Loop. I love The Loop. I've really enjoyed this one. Pandasaurus, to me, this is a Pandasaurus games are interesting because I always enjoy them and rarely keep them. The Loop is, I think, one that's going to stick around for a very long time in my collection. We'll see. Number 35 is Foundations of Rome, a giant big box from Arcane Wonders that I still very much enjoy. Foundations of Rome is excellent polynomial experience, always fun to pull out. It's just the visual table aspect, solid game across the board. At 34, we have Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. This, to me, is what Isle of Cats should have been. I love Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. Isle of Cats I'm fine with, and Isle of Cats Explore and Draw I think gives me all the high parts of Isle of Cats, but in a better system that I just like it more. At 33, we have Wonderland's War. I like Wonderland's War a lot, again with the caveat that I still don't know where it ultimately settles, but it's still high on this list for right now. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to diving into it more and more and more. I don't know if it lasts forever because it's area control and because it runs a little longer for the experience. Like, I'd still rather play Blood Rage or Inish or any of my classic area control games that I love, so I don't know if it's a forever game, but still a game I'm very much excited about and hoping it makes its way to a forever game. There's no such thing as forever, but whatever. 32 is Seven Wonders. I love Seven Wonders. It has not, like, this to me, there's 2 games that are left in my collection from my original games that I bought. Castle of Burgundy and Seven Wonders. It's been 12 years I've been playing games now, and those 2 have stuck around. Seven Wonders is just, I like it. 31 is Valeria Card Kingdoms. I've been diving into this one more solo recently. I think I played I think I played a few times. I played like 2 or 3 solo games, and not solo, cooperative games, and then once competitive. I like it both ways. I prefer it competitive, but I like the variability that the solo experience gives you. The cooperative experience, you could play it solo. But overall, Valeria Card Kingdoms, I really like it. Still holding up for me. At 30, we have Bunny Kingdom. I love Bunny Kingdom. It's so much fun. With the expansion every time. Biggest complaint is it only really plays at 3-player, but I really enjoy Bunny Kingdom. At 29, we have Dominion, which is fantastic. Again, a game that's been around for a very long time. I actually got rid of my entire Dominion collection at one point, and then got it back because I just love it so much. Dominion is just, it's so good. I think I have all the expansions at this point. I'm pretty sure I do, but I actually just recently re-got the whole second edition for it. I really like Dominion a lot. 28, we have Quad Heroes over here, right behind my head over here. Quad Heroes, which I love. Quad Heroes is a game that's hard. Here's my thing. So Forsaken is a good example of this. Quad Heroes and Forsaken are both games that fall in the category of, I don't know how often I'll table them. They're a little harder and messier to table, but I love Quad Heroes. Every time I play Quad Heroes, I'm like, that's why I have it in my collection. It's not going anywhere. I really hope I never get rid of it. It's fun when I play it, and then sometimes I don't play it and I forget how much I enjoy it. At 27, we have Mechs vs. Minions. Had a chance to dive into this one. It's been a long time. You've seen it over here. I played at a convention actually, but you've seen it over here for a long time. Mechs vs. Minions is fun. It's just fun to build your card row and stomp on things. I don't think it's a forever game. I think I'll eventually finish it at one point and then move on from it. But until that point, I just enjoy Mechs Minions. 26 is Marvel United. I'm always surprised how high this ranks, but I always am down to play Marvel United. It's simple, it's fun, it's compelling. It's simple though. It is simple. And I understand people who aren't pulled in by it, but I always have fun when I play Marvel United. At 25, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a very sad one because this game does not exist and may not ever exist. I hope that, I hope Board Cubator, basically the campaign canceled and Board Cubator shutting down. I hope they're able to sell it or move it on to somebody else because I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is absolutely fantastic. I really do. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's a fantastic game. At 24, we have Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa from Devir Games. I really enjoyed this one. This is one that really gave me a solid Euro experience, lots of chaining of different things together in a very rewarding puzzle. I thought Lacrimosa from Devir Games was excellent. Then at 23, we have Oathsworn. Oathsworn, which is not on the table over here, but Oathsworn into the Deep Void is just really good. There's been a lot of buzz about it recently because they have the second campaign. It's going to do well. It's the kind of game that's just going to hold up for years to come. Oathsworn is a Kingdom Death Monster kind of competitor in that genre. It's holding at a 9.3 on Board Game Geek, which is insane. Oathsworn is really good. It's a boss hunter with story, with a whole bunch of things mixed in. It's really good. At 22, we have Spirit Island. Spirit Island is always enjoyable. I recently played Nature's Incarnate, the Target version of it. I recently read the rules for Branch and Claw so I could play Spirit Island properly. But I still, whenever I play Spirit Island, I just have a good time. At 21, we have Roleplay Adventures. This is a very high one for me. This is one that I've really been enjoying. I love the Choose Your Own Adventure. I like the dice manipulation. I enjoy the story very much. The package deal of Roleplay Adventures is very satisfying, and I highly recommend this game. Highly recommend this game. Highly. From Thunderworks Games, highly recommend it. Then at 20, we have Cloudspire. Cloudspire, which I think I only got one play in recently in the past few months. Cloudspire is a game that I love, but I've, like too many Chip Theory games, I've had a harder time tabling it. And Cloudspire is one that I've really enjoyed. I've played it both competitively and solo at this point. Have not yet played it cooperatively. I want to dive into it that way. But it's just a fun game to table. Lots of powers and abilities, lots of management, lots of thinkiness as you try to figure out how to optimize towards actually winning. But I really enjoy the experience that Cloudspire gives. It's up there. It's up there with my Chip Theory Games titles. At 19, we have Brass Birmingham. Brass Birmingham is amazing. I love it. It's a great game. It's very heavy, very thinky. You have to be prepared for it, but it's a good experience whenever I play it. Then at 19, we have, no, that's 19 already. At 18, we have Acropolis. Acropolis from Machete Games. I really liked Acropolis. I think the cover looks terrible, but the game itself, I really liked it. It feels like Cascadia with a degree of, ironically, Cascadia is ranked higher than Acropolis, but it shouldn't be, I think. Cascadia is going to be 17, so we have Acropolis at 18 and Cascadia at 17. Again, these aren't planned. These just go into pub meeple and get ranked. Both of them are fantastic games of trying to optimize your score as you grab tiles, but you do so in different ways. Acropolis has levels and tiers and different ways of scoring. Cascadia, I think, has higher variability potential, although I think Acropolis with an expansion could easily accommodate for that. So right now, I think Acropolis I prefer, but I think Cascadia likely will settle higher over time, but both of them are absolutely fantastic. At 16, we have Zombicide Black Plague. Had a chance to play this one again. It's been a while, and I still love it. I still love Zombicide. It's a great game. I still very much enjoy the adventure of the game, the slaughtering of zombies, the leveling up of your characters, the finding of the items, the sense of story it tells every time. I really enjoy it. At 15, we have Mythic Mischief. I love Mythic Mischief. Whenever I play it, I have an absolute blast. It is just simple, rewarding, engaging fun. It's not simple. It's rewarding, engaging, strategic fun, a lot of brain-burnery thinkiness as far as how to out-optimize the other player, but there's always a way to get that score. There's always a way to solve for it and a way to capture and crush, and I love it a lot. Mythic Mischief's just ridiculously solid. At 14, we have Hoplomachus Victorum. Hoplomachus Victorum is excellent. I think I actually prefer Cloudspire, but I'm still more excited about Hoplomachus Victorum right now because I think it's easier to table. That's, I think, a big thing. When I play Cloudspire, I'm like, do I have it down? Do I mentally have it down? And when I play Hoplomachus Victorum, I'm like, I got this. I know exactly what I'm doing. So I think that affects my perception of what I'd rather play, but I think I rank Cloudspire higher. But Hoplomachus Victorum, it's excellent. It's a solo experience, arguably solo experience, but it's from Chip Theory Games, and it's simple. They're one of the easier games to dive into from their line. It's a great intro point. Like, I would recommend Hoplomachus Victorum as the best intro point to the Chip Theory catalog. Then we have 13 is Cyclades. I love Cyclades. It's just so good. It's just so good. I love the gameplay of Cyclades. I have complaints. I have things I can complain about, whatever. It's an amazing experience every single time I play it. It's area control, bidding on gods, the bidding of gods, the manipulation of trying to plan around it. Absolutely delightful. At 12, we have Dune Imperium, which has continued to grow on me. As I play the expansion more and more, I love this game. This game is, like, for me, right now, if I was ranking Dune Imperium, Endless Winter, Lost Ruins of Arnak, I don't know where they end up right now. I don't. We're going to have to, like... We need more time to figure it out. I love Dune Imperium, though. It's an excellent experience. At 11, we have Mind Management. Mind Management is delightful. It's just so good. From off-the-page games, every time I play it, it's hidden roll, but it's one of the best hidden movement. It's hidden movement, and it's arguably the best hidden movement game I've played. It is simple, it's engaging, it plays quickly, it teaches quickly, and it's such a puzzle of trying to figure out who's going to win. It is so rewarding. It is arguably my favorite hidden movement game. At 10, we have Gloomhaven Crimson Scales. This one, I don't know how you rank this one, because, well, we'll talk about it soon with Gloomhaven, but Gloomhaven Crimson Scales is a Gloomhaven offshoot. It's a Gloomhaven standalone, not standalone, you need Gloomhaven. It is it's the largest fan-made expansion to a game out there that I believe, and it's basically more Gloomhaven content. It's like 14 new classes, like 16 new missions. If you're bored of Gloomhaven, or not bored, if you're out of Gloomhaven and you need more content, Crimson Scales will deliver very, very much for you. At 9, we have Vindication. I still love it. Vindication, every time I play it, it ranks highly. I love the puzzle of Vindication. I have not even come close to getting bored of it just yet. At 8, we have Lost Ruins of Arnak, which answers the question of what I'd rank higher, but I mean, honestly, I don't know. This list was done quickly. If I was ranking Arnak, Dune Imperium, and Endless Winter, I don't know where they go. Maybe we'll do a re-ranking at some point. But Lost Ruins of Arnak is delightful. Every single time. Again, both Arnak and Imperium, the expansions only elevated what was already an excellent experience. I enjoy the deck building, worker placement puzzle in all 3 of these games. Endless Winter's not on this list, though, because it wasn't played in the past 3 months. Actually, I think it was. Why is it not on this list, then? I'm pretty sure Endless Winter should be on this list. It may not have made it. But, in any case, number 7 is Mosaic. Mosaic is excellent. I love Mosaic. It's fun, fast tableau building from Forbidden Games. It is an expensive game. You have to be mindful of that. But I really enjoy it. If you like games like Terraforming Mars, I think you'll enjoy games like Mosaic. I think Mosaic, to me, I compare it to accessible Terraforming Mars, to Terraforming Mars Lite. That's what it feels like to me. When I want Terraforming Mars, but I want it in a shorter game time and a little bit less brain burn to me, Mosaic delivers. At 6, we have Encyclopedia. I love Encyclopedia from Holy Grail Games. I have same company as Cope and Dine City. I love it. I continue to play it and continue to be impressed by the chaining puzzle of the game. Every time I take an action, multiple things happen, and I just feel so rewarded by the sequence of play. Encyclopedia is absolutely fantastic. At 5, we have Crokinole, which is an amazing experience. If you don't have a Crokinole board, you should get a Crokinole board. I recommend Tracy boards. They have the best Crokinole boards. It's an expensive thing to get into, but it is so worth it. Ideally at 4-player. 2-player Crokinole, honestly, ranks like down here for me. Like, I don't know where down here is. 2-player Crokinole is good. 4-player Crokinole is amazing. At 4, we have Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven, which I've been playing a lot of, and I love Gloomhaven. I find that I have complaints. I have things I could complain about. Specifically, I have some things I want to talk to Isaac about in terms of just he punishes you for being a good person sometimes. But in Gloomhaven, it's a fantastic experience. It is number one game for a reason, and number 1 ranked game on board for a reason. It is a great experience that I have fallen in love with. The more I upgrade my core character, the more I build, the more I do stuff, I have continued to fall more and more in love with the experience that is Gloomhaven. At 3, we have Too Many Bones, which still outranks Gloomhaven because I love Too Many Bones. Too Many Bones from Chip Theory Games is still my favorite Chip Theory game so far. I love Too Many Bones. It is just every time I play it, I feel like the way I build up my character is so rewarding and so enjoyable. It is such a fun experience that I'm just very much in love with. At 2, we have Inish. Inish is fantastic. It's one of my favorite area control games. I believe is my 3rd highest ranked game of all time last year. I believe so. And then at number 1, we have Terraforming Mars, which was my highest ranked game of all time as of last year, and still holds true at least for this ranking. Terraforming Mars, every time I play it, is still absolutely delightful. And that's what we have. 151 different games, around 64 of which I think you should definitely be paying attention to, and the others you can kind of skip on. Not that they're bad games, not in the slightest. Is that you have to pick and choose, and honestly, the fact that I have more than a third of the list as being worth paying attention to is already too much. It's already too much. So, I hope you enjoyed this video in some way, shape, or form. I hope this is useful. I play a lot of games, I review a lot of games, but sometimes I find it's helpful to see what someone is most interested in, most excited about. Lots of games are decent, lots of games are good, lots of games are worth paying attention to. If we go down this list to, I don't know, let's go to something under 63. If we go to Fit to Print is a good game. Stars of Icarus is a good game. Rift Force is a good game. Wingspan's a great game. Gaia Project, a good game. Although again, you have to go with the fact that this is my ranking, not BGG's ranking, because Gaia Project is a great game according to BGG. But my point is, even amongst these many good games, they're not my favorite games. I have to go to 63 and underneath before I feel, was it 63 or 64? 64 and underneath, 9-Minute Kingdoms and below, is where I really don't want you to miss out on these experiences, where I think you should really try them out. The rest are all good, but you have to pick and choose somewhere. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.